And we are back, Ultimate Blerds podcast. It's your boy, Recruit Zero.
Hey, what it do? It's your boy, Uncle Charles.
And we are here to ask a significant question about the gaming culture. Is there heaven for video games?
Or is it hell?
Or hell, I mean, yeah.
Because I feel like that's where we're at right now.
Right, because right now it feels like it's always something new. Like the next gen cycle, something's always coming. There's always wait for the new console. Like we've had consoles since PlayStation, since original Xbox, since N64. They come out every few years, of course. The average cycle is about 4 to 7 years, but now with like the pro versions and everything, it feels like halfway through the cycle, you're like, oh, I'm gonna just wait and save my money for the next joint. Because
let's think about it like this. When the PlayStation 5 dropped, what, 2020, COVID?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
It's 2024.
Right.
Why is there a pro?
Exactly.
What we doing? I have yet to hear. There's always a key phrase in the gaming industry where it's like, this game pushed the console to the limits. The game, the fans are on, it sounds like a jet plane. Like, this is the thing that pushes the game. We need a stronger console for this. And I have yet to hear that from any game. Like,
yeah, I haven't heard that from any game this cycle. Now, that used to be the case like for Rockstar when it was like, that new GTA coming out. You know that's going to push that usually marked the end of the console generation because you knew Rockstar is getting everything they can out of that console. But now we've been on, GTA 5 for 10 years? So we're not even getting that.
Hey, that thing makes money. From a business perspective, I wouldn't change either. I wouldn't give y'all away.
I mean, they made like $1 billion off GTA Online.
I'd run until y'all stop playing it. That's what I would do. If I was Lord Business, I'd be like, why am I going to give you another one?
Nah, that's facts.
What's the point? What's the point? Y'all still play this.
We fell for the trap.
You fell for the trap. I just keep updating it like, wow. I give you a GTA 6 just one day.
Right.
Matter of fact, I wouldn't even give you a GTA 6. I give you GTA Online 2. I'm so sincere.
No, that's true. I mean, now with, the development cycles of games, the development cycle of a AAA game is like 3 to 5 years. So like if the average console cycle is 4 to 7 years, you only gonna get but so many games out of one cycle. And it's just like, ugh.
But the other thing I think that's important that we talk about is like culture, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a time like you sat with a game like you would sit with an album, right?
That's
like,
true.
I would sit, I can't tell you how many times I played through the same levels of GoldenEye, right? I can't tell you how much time I spent trying to like get to the gold saucer so I could get Knights of the Round. Like after I did everything, we sat with games like again and again, and we played them for like months on end, years on end. And it seems like now, like with streaming and just internet influencer culture, it's like we always have to be on the next thing.
Oh yeah,
like, it's like
facts.
as soon as GTA 6 drops, here's the next game I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And it's like GTA 6 just dropped.
Right. And now really the only thing, I think that goes to how games are created now. They don't build replay value into it. Like ever since like the trophy system started, like the trophy system
Do you care about
really
trophies?
No, because it's so artificial to me. It's like you didn't build replay into the game. You're just like, if you do these things, you can find these little whatevers. And
I never understood trophies because there was no way to show it off. Like, how do I show off like I platinum a game? And like, what do I get for it? Like, I don't get like a special skin.
It's
I don't
just
like
clout.
Clout
for yourself.
For what? For who?
For yourself.
Who cares? Like, throw a kid. I can't stand that. But I mean, console generations feel shorter because we're always like hungry for the next thing instead of just like enjoying what we have or enjoying the backlog, right?
Yeah,
like,
the attention spans are definitely short.
They're shorter, and I think it goes to like, again, the backlog and like what games we would want to play, right?
Right.
Like, if I was to say, what games would you bring to the current generation? What would you say?
I got a few of them joints. So I'd probably say I would bring NBA Street, Jet Moto, Crazy Taxi, Burnout, Need for Speed, and SSX.
Okay.
Because it seems like the whole extreme sports genre has been abandoned by current gen video games. Like X Games, skateboarding, BMX, all of that used to go crazy. And now we get nothing.
So let me ask you this. Could you play those games now, like on PlayStation or Xbox?
Play the old versions?
Yeah, can you play the old versions now?
No. I mean, most of them, there's no backwards compatibility.
I think that goes to like the point about heaven or hell for video games.
So they're in hell.
Yeah, because I can't get them. Like, what's the point of like all of this? You know, like, is there? It's like, no, there is no heaven. It's just that's it.
Yeah,
it's over.
Just
like,
you're done when that last server closes.
Yes,
you never existed.
Let me tell you, I thought about this. I keep all my consoles, right? Like they're all in my parents' house. I was like, oh man, Dreamcast, PS2. Let me turn this on. And I was like, on what TV? They don't run HDMI. So I had to find an old TV and like red, yellow, and white that thing to like turn it on. And it was just like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have a memory card. So even if I wanted to like play this game for a while, what am I gonna do?
No, that's true. That's true.
But
with that, so I mean, we got emulators, things like that. What do you think is the better treatment of games to bring them to the current gen? Just a remaster or like a full remake? So you got like the GTA collection where they remastered it and it was terrible and they pulled them because it was garbage. Yeah. Or you got the remakes like the Final Fantasy VII remake where it's the classic.
I don't want to remake.
It's the classic. You don't want to
I don't remake.
The joint looks amazing.
No.
Why not?
Let me tell you something.
You want the blocky sprites?
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not what I'm on. That's not what I'm on. I'm about to get on my old man on the lawn.
He's getting on his old man.
On my old man on the lawn. Turn-based.
Oh, you're stuck with that.
Tried and true. It fits like a glove. It's why mess up a good thing? Why do we need to do that?
So you don't like the real-time fighting?
Line my people up in a line of 4 and let me spam a command and take my turns. Well, I don't want to ballot.
But would you be okay with updated graphics but keep the turn-based mechanic?
They should be lined up. Across horizontally. A summon should like be this thing that we all pause for.
Right.
Like
to a cutscene and all that.
Yes. Like I don't want to fight my summons to get them. Like I don't have to jump them in a team game, in a VR simulator.
Right.
I'm supposed to go in a cave of a dungeon, beat some special boss, and there's a stone or whatever here, and that is my summon.
I feel that.
Line me up. Like, that's the thing about remakes is every time people want to remake something, this isn't just Final Fantasy. This is a lot of like, we remade it and updated the tail. Don't update my tail. Pause. That's the only update. I don't want to update. Okay. Dead Rising.
Right.
It was like a remake. They kept it pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You can even get the old controls.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a reason we want that game. Like, I don't want a retelling of a story that I loved. Like, I want the story that I love. Like, just
with
give me
new graphics.
Okay, prime example. I love Final Fantasy VI. I talk about this game all the time.
Right.
Give me the Octopath Traveler treatment. That's it. The 2.5 HD. Like, give me that. I don't need 3D graphics and voice actors. I want to read text.
If you got a PS5, you're not going to want that joint to look like real life.
No, I want you to line up across. Line up, bro. Like, why is it in 2024 we're afraid to line up?
I mean, I feel like you can mix keeping the mechanics while updating the my perfect mix would be update the graphics because I want the joint to look crazy. But keep the mechanics. Like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake they released. The graphics are updated, but everything's like when it was on PlayStation.
Because you know what happens, speaking about Final Fantasy, because you brought this up. You know what I hate? And I see this in games, like especially when they up. And this is the other thing I don't like a remake, right? Because in an old game, I can like I expect some jank.
Yeah.
A particular jank. There's one thing I hate. It's when, like, if you're a boss, right, and I'm about to hit you, and I move out the way, and it's like, nope, I'm just gonna follow you on. It's like, bro, what is this? I moved out of the way. Like, why is this thing, like, cutting this way across, like, 5 different planes of existence and still hitting me? Like, and I can't stand it. I mean, here's who did it the best. Nintendo.
Okay.
With the Wii. When they had that shop open.
Yeah.
It's like the one time in history it felt like, remember all those games you played when you were a kid? They're all right here. Buy them again for $6.99. I was like, you damn right, Nintendo. $6.99. Here's all the games. Like, games I couldn't even get anymore.
Right.
Like, I think, like, taking the time to deal with licensing, right? Seeing how you could deal with backwards compatibility, make all the sense in the world. Like,
that's true.
Like, just like give me the ability to just play the old version. Like,
that's true.
Can I tell you how many times I buy or get Streets of Rage 2? That thing has traveled with me from like the 90s in the Genesis to today. Like, I have that Sega Genesis Master Collection on Xbox and PlayStation. I think I have it on my Switch. Like, I have to be able to play Streets of Rage 2 whenever I feel the desire. Like, it's the same thing with movies, right? Like, I own the greatest version of a Transformers movie, right? Is the one in the 80s, right? Yeah. Like, not that Michael Bay BS.
Whoa, no Michael Bay slander up in here, bro. Stop
for the kids. Can't say I want to feel.
So now we're going to have an episode on that, because that's unconscionable.
It's not saying that the best Transformers was in the 80s. What do you go pick? When they was like...
Bro, when the joints were looking like real life?
You had the Man Tan and Sleep and Eat.
That was one movie, bro. Hey, we'll talk about that later.
Hey, all I know is my Transformers turned into Porsches. Ferraris.
And a big gun.
Yeah, the big gun. Yeah. Turn into a switch.
We'll talk.
Sprayed the whole block.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
What's he turning into now?
He turned into a jet or something.
Even in the Owens, he turned into a tank. Okay, we're getting off track. Listen, okay.
But yeah, okay, I feel you. So I definitely agree. If you're not doing a remaster or a remake, the straight just backwards compatibility, I can play the version that came out whenever, is the next best option.
It's the best option.
But they know they not gonna get no more bread off of that.
You always get, what did I just say? I buy Streets of Rage wherever. Like,
that's true, but then they gotta spend the time to port it.
Some of these games are old. Like, some of these games are like less than a gig. Like,
I mean, yeah,
full
that's true.
file size. And then some games, like, and then here's the other thing we don't talk about. I saw this. This was on Threads. Some games are just ugly, and some games, like, when was the last time you played like an old PS1 game? Some of those. That's what I'm saying. Like, some stuff we can let by the wayside. But I think you need to put time in stuff. There's such a wide catalog of games. Like, I thought about what games I would want, another remake of, and I'm just looking and I'm like, I also just want new titles.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Like, heaven for me would be if I'm getting new things. Like, instead of like, if I continue to pine over everything that I have already played, then that is telling me you're not giving me what I need. Today.
So, in terms of new titles, would you say you just want completely new IPs, or you'd be like, I want a new sequel in this franchise?
No, I want new IPs, and I want people to try stuff. Like, I want to try a new... Like, remember when Braid came out and you could, like, rewind everything, and that was a cool thing? Or when Fez came out and you were turning... we talked about this, I think, one time with Batman and the fight mechanics. Like, here's one. Did you ever play Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah.
The Nemesis system? I've never seen that.
That's true.
I haven't seen it since that game.
That's because Warner Brothers copyrighted it and won't let anybody else use it. So Warner Brothers, give it up. Let some other games do that, because it was fly.
It was like Remembered. It was like, yo, you beat my homeboy at the castle over there.
That would be so hard in so many other games too. Like, imagine like a Ghost Recon or a Call of Duty where it's like, oh, I tried to snipe this dude and missed. And then he comes back 2 levels later with the gang.
Or just like, speaking of Rainbow Six, it's like, why not make a Rainbow an old tactical? Like when you talk about like remakes or like bring certain ideas back. Like I remember tactical like Rainbow Six, right? Like I remember being young and I like kitted everybody out with Desert Eagles and stuff that didn't make no sense. Right. And I was like, all right, bet. That was the first time I ran in a room thinking it was like a video game, and it was like an enemy like on this side of the door. So as soon as I ran in, like, yeah, it was like, yeah, you're dead. I was like, wait, he's dead? Like, how did this happen? It was like, yeah, what do you think this is? Like, this is a
tactical.
Like bring back things that like can challenge or just push forward. I mean, the preservation, I think you have it like with the PC and like and Steam, right? Like, I feel like Steam has everything. Like, there's nothing I cannot get or good old games. I think this good old games still exist. I feel like they got bought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I definitely feel like the PC world does it a lot better than consoles just because the technology isn't changing as much. And I mean, like if you have an old game, you can probably run it on a new computer. Yeah. Versus consoles, they change architecture, all that type of stuff, or they just
now they like PCs. Yeah. But if Xbox can do it, right? Like somehow they've reached back to give me like old Xbox games and like and then here Power Stone came back in that Capcom Fighting Collection. So like I enjoy a remaster, I enjoy updates. I think my biggest thing is we loved this for this thing. Yeah. And like that's what made it dope.
That's true. That's true.
When you don't do that, that's when you have like Coming to America and then you get the sequel. Yeah. It's just like, what are we doing here? Right. It's like, well, you tried to do too much. You had too much. As Country Wayne said, he had too much dip on your chin.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, like the history, the culture, do you think that the move to digital games, not having a physical disc will negatively impact game history? Because right now, we've talked about this with like with Concord. Yeah. You could download a game and then if the company loses the rights or whatever, they could just wipe it from your game library and the game just technically never exists for you again.
There's been a long conversation about ownership, right? And like for California just changed the law and like made you like it's not really ownership, right? Like if I have a digital library of things, do I really own it? And like the question is like, no, not really. Yeah. And I thought and I think about this like a lot. And I'm like, well, even if I had a disc, the way they make consoles now, the disc is useless anyway.
Yeah, because it needs the online connection.
It needs an online connection. It ends up downloading and doing something.
Like day one
not
patches.
Even a patch. Like the disc itself, it like doesn't run. Like every time you put in a disc, it's like, hold on, we got to load it onto the hard drive and do something. So it's like it's not like the old days where with a Super Nintendo, I just plug it in. Right. And it's like we're good to go. Like
that's true.
Trying to play my old Dreamcast let me know there's so many moving parts that like, and now I'm gonna bring in like some like Web3 like other it's like blockchain, right? Like if I could like own this piece of thing for forever and it travel with me throughout like hardware, like that would be dope. Like here's a good example, right? On iPhone, you remember when iPhone had when Epic made that swipe game? And I cannot remember what the name of it was. I don't remember the name, but it was one of the first like true like games that came out, and it was like you were running in a castle and you fought different people and you had to swipe. You can't get that game anymore. Now Epic had beef with Apple, but I'm just saying like, you can't get that game anymore. Like if I want to get Interstate 76 or Crusader No Remorse for like PC, like these old games from the 90s, like I still have a way to do that digitally. And it's like this weird thing of like, I've been asking myself this a lot lately, like what is ownership? Right. Like.
And I mean, that's a question across a lot of media, like with Max just deciding for the tax write-off to delete the Batgirl movie and a whole bunch of other stuff. Is like, what do we really own? What really exists? And then people are against piracy, but sometimes that's the only way to preserve certain things. Piracy, emulation, because through official channels, they don't care enough about the culture to preserve it for people to like. People will spend money on this if you make it available.
There's a reason Disney was pulling out the vault, like for the first time in 25 years, this never before seen classic, The Jungle Book. Exactly. You was like on DVD.
Right. Oh, let me get that.
It was like, I gotta go get it. Then like 5 years later, never seen this with the Apple, never seen before this format on Blu-ray, The Jungle Book, and it'd be like, I gotta get it again.
Right.
Because, like, how else can you prove a Mandela effect about the Berenstain Bears and the Sinbad movie if you don't have physical copies?
That is true. We need that physical.
I need to be able to hold. Like, and then there's this, like, when you get older, you like to look back on things.
Exactly.
And it's like, I remember this. Like, even if I don't play it, like, just to hold the game and, like,
that's true.
Open up the discs. It's hard to say, like, about physical media for games because the industry stopped caring about physical media a long time ago. Like, I knew what was up when they stopped putting like the booklets.
Right. Now you get a game, it's just a piece of paper with a QR code that sends you to the website for the instructions.
Or for like a download. It was a story, and then you would open up the book. For those that don't know, you would open up first there was artwork on like the front and the back. It was like a CD, and you pulled out the booklet, and there was like stories, and you see character art, and there'd be all in like,
and it builds the world of the game.
Yeah, and so you could see this, like, even if you didn't play the game, you just be like, oh man, like I remember looking at this. I remember looking like you just to hold the game.
Exactly.
It's just like I remember there was a time we used this thing, and like the Rumble Pack, or like the old, like it'd be stuff like that you're like, I just appreciate holding on to this, and I love that. When you go on, like, when this generation is over, right?
Right.
What the hell do I do with my system? Because chances are it's going to play those games. So do I just keep an old system?
Right. I mean, that's the question, because now with the PlayStation 5, you got versions that don't even have a disk drive. So it's like, unless you keep the whole console and preserve that, if it don't port over to the next system, those games you download only exist on that console. So it's like, all right, cool. So now I got to keep that forever, or hope that there's backwards compatibility in PS6, because otherwise that's just a whole cycle of my gaming life that is now non-existent.
Let me ask you this. How do you feel about pro versions?
I hate them, because even though I will say the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro looks amazing, and I kind of wanted to buy that joint, but the scalpers got it for $2,000.
Yo, as my homeboy says to all y'all scalpers, I wish you nothing but cold fries for what you did. Every time you go to a fast food restaurant, cold fries on you.
It's crazy, because that was $700. I wasn't gonna buy it. I was gonna buy the controller though, because they made the controller look like PS1. But yeah, the Pro version, there's never a game out that really makes the case for the Pro version. It's like, all right, what, this grass looks a little sharper. I saw side-by-side screenshots of like the Spider-Man Miles Morales, because they used that as a test on how it would look, and it was like the trees were like 1% sharper. I'm like, I'm not paying you another $700.
I heard you have to sit like this close to the TV, and I'm like, ain't nobody.
I'm like, that's a cash grab. Like, if you really want to do that, then you need to do the work of making sure your publishers have games that push the technology.
You know why I don't like this Pro?
Why?
And this has been said before. I don't like this Pro because this is what the PlayStation 5 should have been. Straight up. This is what it should have been.
Yeah.
This is what it should have been. It should have just been this, and we would have been all right.
That's true.
But now you have this Pro, and historically, we know what? When a Pro comes, it's what? 2-3 more years.
Here's the backside of the generation.
And so then if you get the Pro version, you're stuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With this. Now, I will say this. If Sony was smart, and Microsoft, if they were dropping Pro versions, they do some type of trade-in.
Yeah.
Now, if I could trade my old system in and get some money off of it, like I'm not going to the GameStop to get 2 stamps. I mean,
you can always trade it in with GameStop. They'll give you a 4 for 4.
Man, that's about as much as I'm gonna get. Right?
Some Trident layers.
What's that, zebra gum?
Bazooka Joe.
Man, bro, get a pack of Big League Chew for like, man, no, bro. Like,
and then resell it for $500.
Do you know I went? This is back in my blogging days. I went to a GameStop because I was like, let me figure out how they do the trade. It's genius, diabolical. It just like, wait, what? How they do trade-in. So like, it's almost like, so let's just say Starfield, right? Let's just take Starfield. Starfield comes out today.
Yeah.
You could still get like $60 for it, like almost full price on Friday.
Yeah.
Next week, it'll go down like 10. And then the following, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this trade-in like works. And then, but it's like, it goes that way. And then if demand jumps up, the price of it will jump up. So it's like, it was this weird thing. Like, so you trade stuff in.
It's a big scam. I remember once I bought a game for $60 and I didn't really like it. I took it back the next day and was like, I want my money back. They were like, nah, but you can trade it in for 30.
Store credit?
Right, 30 in cash, 40 in store credit. So I was like, give me the store credit. Then something was on the case. So I went back and I saw it on the shelf the next week for 60 again, for like 50 again. I'm like, bro, y'all finessing.
Yeah, they be hitting you like Pawn Stars. The best I can do. Exactly. I got to call my homeboy out the back. Let me have him look at the case. This case was on some carpet, huh? I mean,
best I can do.
Best I can do. I can give you this in a Game Informer magazine.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, y'all finessing in here.
Let's think about some other games that now that you've like had. I've been thinking as you've been talking, right? What other stuff would I like? There's an old game on Sega called Cyborg Justice that was fire. And what I liked about that was like you could fight enemies and take their stuff. Yeah. And like put it kind of like a Monster Hunter. I mean, not like, but like you weren't fighting just like one boss. You were fighting like multiple things. You could like take stuff off. Star Fox is another one.
Star Fox, that's a classic right there.
They got to do a barrel roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Road Rash.
Okay, Road Rash, I remember that.
I pick, and this kind of goes to my point. I'm picking games with like mechanics that like stuck out to me, I haven't seen in a while, right? And that goes to the point of like, if you're doing new things, I won't pine for the past as much. That's true. I could stick on one thing for longer. Like Bushido Blade, like I love that game. It wasn't the best fighting game in the world, but I thought a game where we both had swords, and if I actually slice you, you're dead. Right. Because that's how it works in real life. Was dope. General Chaos was another one. I love that one. The Transformers games, because they were like the Transformers from the 80s. Right. Or, once again, we always go back to the best, the source. Right. You know what I'm saying? The best Transformers. The best role-playing games where you line up. Like... I still can't get over that, like, not lining up. Like, it took, do you know, like, the thrill of victory when you pulled off, like, a successful chain of commands and just, like, the agony of, like, a one-hit kill, like, because you messed up the setup. And it's just, man, I just love that. Those were some good ones. Oblivion, I think that's getting a remake. KOTOR was supposed to get a remake. Okay. Knights of the Old Republic, but I don't know what happened with that.
That's been in like development hell. But I hope they do it. Because I mean, there was the Star Wars Galaxy's Outlaws they just came out with. So they might get it together.
That didn't do well.
Well, damn.
But again, it's like hell because, right, like we don't have the space to do what we want. Like, like the developers, like these developers, they're not just here. Like no one goes to work wanting to do a crappy job, right? No one, like, none of these teams get, do their thing and be like, yo, like, I'm about to make the worst game possible. Yeah. Like, it is on deck. I woke up for this. Like, I am ready for this game to suck.
Right.
Like,
no, that's true.
And so if we gave them more room,
That's for sure.
Like just way more room, more time to really just make something that would hold for a long time.
Right.
And I think that would also extend the life of consoles. Because you're like, I don't need anything better because this right here is so unique and so refreshing.
And has the replay value and all of that. That really would be the heaven for video games.
It would be.
If you had stuff replayable, like I always finding something new, all that type of stuff, that would keep games from getting just relegated to purgatory as soon as you get to the end of the story on the first go round.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean,
well, let me ask you this as we get ready to wrap up. All right, PS5 Pro drop. No, it's dropping at the end of the year, right? When do you think we're gonna get PS6?
Probably like 2 years after that.
2026?
Yeah, probably 2026 or 2027. Which, it's bad.
I see 2026. All right. And based on everything we discussed, will you buy the PS6 day one?
No. I never buy any console day one.
Really?
Never.
How long do you wait?
Probably like 2 years in. Because they never have launch titles that are hitting like that, ever.
So you're the reason why the games have been the way they are. That's why... We're in hell because of you.
Hey, heaven and hell for video games. Maybe I'm part of the problem.
You are part of the problem. That's why all the games still play on PS4. Recruit Zero over here is still playing on PS4. I'm on PS5.
If you have joints that hit first day, I'd be in the store. Plus, the scalpers be buying all the consoles anyway. So, I mean, what can I say? But that is there heaven or hell for video games? Great conversation. So, we will see you on the next one. It's been your boy, Recruit Zero.
It's your boy, Uncle Charles.
And this is Ultimate Blerds. See y'all later.
Peace.